What up, everybody? Welcome to the IAG Thursday Thing, this thing that we do every Thursday. And we've been pretty good about doing it every Thursday, which is real awesome because it's your weekly community car meet where we all hang out, talk Subarus, have a good time, and accidentally learn stuff. I'm joined this week by my partner in crime, as usual. What's up, Warranty? How you doing, bud?
I am doing great. It is 51 degrees in Chicago right now. It feels like the summertime. Thankful for every degree above freezing. So life is good right now.
Yeah, it's raining here, so I think it's about the same temperature. It's raining. We were like 63, 64 yesterday. It was pretty nice.
Oh man, before I forget, I heard that In-N-Out Burger is coming to Tennessee, so I might have to come visit you, but for a burger.
Yes. In-N-Out
Cruise and a
Burgers coming to
burger.
Tennessee. Whataburger's already here. Within
Oh
a half
wow.
an hour, I'm gonna have a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, 3
I,
reasons to come visit you. That sounds
I'm
lovely.
just saying, my dude. Really, you know what we need though? We found there is a Rosati's less than 2 hours from here.
No way. What direction?
Towards St. Louis. There's one that's actually in
Okay.
Mississippi in like a college town. That isn't
Really?
that far either. Yeah, that's just a little over 2 hours. So
Wow,
we're
not
about the
what?
same. I kind of actually want to go to the Mississippi one because I think, like, I know where I know the town that
Mhm.
the other one is in Missouri, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of meh. But the
Rosati's in Mississippi. That's not what I expected to hear.
I was
So,
not expecting that either. This all came from my wife. Um, this new book just came out. They're all super into it, and
mm,
her and all her friends went and rented an Airbnb in Kentucky to like hang out and get away from everybody in this nice place and read this damn book. So it was like
sure.
a week long book club thing.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah. I mean, we all need hobbies. So uh, she went and did that, and I guess like they had a Rosati's in town, and I'm like, what? And she's like,
What?
yeah, like I'll bring you a beef if you want. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Nice. Good wife. That's lovely.
Yeah,
But
it was sick. I was so
not what
stoked.
I
I
expected to
mean, the
see.
beef was cold when it was here, but it was great. It was the best beef I've had in at least a year because I haven't had a beef in at least a year.
Oh, like water for a dry man's soul.
Yes, it was great. So, we normally are joined by producer Jordan, but oh boy's got some serious work he's got to get done today, so he's probably going to be popping in and out. We probably ain't going to see him much, but he takes care of a lot of our background stuff, and we gotta we can't thank him enough for everything he does. And we're also joined by Randy, who does our thumbnails and some of our other background stuff. He's actually been messing with getting our YouTube stuff sorted out so the algorithm might actually catch it. People, we're going to get some new people listening to it. But Randy's actually going to be a part of the show today for the first time in a very long time. We're kind of excited about that too. But top of the show, I think we need to talk about something unfortunate that happened. I'm not even sure where that was. I think it was Cali.
Yeah, it looks like there's a crash that happened about a little over a week ago on
Mhm.
Highway 9 in California. What happened was that a BRZ crossed the double yellow to make a pass and hit a Porsche head on, and the Porsche driver died. So it's been posted on Reddit a couple of times. Then I picked up a couple of very, very local news sites picking it up as well. But yeah, it just goes as a reminder for everybody, like, it is not about skill. You do not cross the double
Well,
yellow under any circumstances.
yeah. Let's chat about this a little bit. This whole thing is tragic. Okay. And I'm sure the Porsche driver and the BRZ driver were out basically doing the same thing, which was probably enjoying a fun windy road
Yeah.
in their sports car, just really enjoying what was going on. Um I can't stress this enough. The street is not a racetrack. It's just not.
Mhm.
Now, I love a good driving road as much or more than most people. I love it. Okay, it's food for the soul, and nothing is better than a Sunday drive in the middle of nowhere a good windy road, the right song on the radio, windows down, just
Sure.
enjoying life. I love it. But there are certain rules you do not break. The biggest one is you do not cross the yellow. Okay, you don't
Right.
cross the center line. You got to keep it in between the mustard and mayo. Um, the the second you do that, you may think you're in control of your car, but you absolutely are putting so many people's lives at risk. It's unfair to anybody else who is out there doing the same thing for you to do that.
Yeah. It's
Not
it's
only that,
unsafe
like
at any speed. It's not about skill level.
it has
Nobody should
nothing
be
to do
doing
with
this.
skill level. It's the same thing when you go to Tail of the Dragon and there's a large truck with a trailer or something going through there, and they you're coming around a corner and they have to cross the double yellow to make the corner. They shouldn't even be on the damn road in the first place.
Mhm.
Everybody gets mad at them. Well, if you're crossing the double yellow, you're literally taking their lives. You're putting people's lives at risk. I can't stress it enough. Not only that, there's no stopwatch. Okay?
Right. You're not
Like
winning money.
and you actually aren't even helping your skill level by
Yeah.
trying to cross the double yellow and like straighten the road or whatever. um you can practice that same skill by keeping it in your lane.
Mhm.
Just crossing there's just no reason to do it, and it doesn't matter where you're at, Tail the Dragon, this whatever.
Yeah.
There's no reason to do it.
The photographers at Tail of the Dragon call people out for crossing the yellow. There's a reason that is so baked into the culture. So that's the best driving road in America, and we should all strive to follow that exact same principle.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
can't stress it enough. The other thing is, again, this isn't a racetrack. There's not safety precautions for a lot of this stuff.
right.
Um, I'm not saying I'm not gonna say it'd make me a total hypocrite if I said you need to go out there and follow the speed limit. Follow all.
No.
I'm not trying to say that. I personally love spirited driving, and I think more people should do it. But
Yeah.
you have to do it the right way, and you have to understand what the limits are. Again, there is there 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 is no stopwatch. So
Right.
if at any point you feel that you are nervous or doing something that maybe you shouldn't, or if you even remotely question anything you're doing, you're doing something wrong and going too fast and you need to back out of it. Now,
Yeah.
you go to a racetrack, it's a totally different thing. Okay? That's where you learn limits past what you think are okay. That's how you learn those things in a
Mhm.
controlled environment. And
Yep.
the public streets absolutely are not that. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's a good side note that I was shocked at how safe it is on a racetrack when you're going, over 100 miles an hour. Where if you completely lose control of your car, you're probably not going to die. You might ride off your car, but it is so different on the street. There is, 2 feet, and then you're going to die. So that is not the same thing.
they're not.
Racetrack is the right
You
place.
got to understand this though. Like a racetrack, when they build most racetracks, especially modern
Mhm. Yeah,
racetracks, they're thinking about that stuff because it affects their insurance. So they're
that's right.
taking physics into account of how a car, if it's screwed up, where it would leave, what it would hit. Not only it's actually kind of rare on most racetracks that if you went off in a semi-controlled manner that didn't involve you hitting another car or something,
Right.
that you're even going to write the car off. There are a few
Mhm.
racetracks out there that I'm not going to lie, write cars off like crazy. Road America, pretty bad about it through the kink.
Yeah,
Road Atlanta,
narrow and
turn
concrete.
one,
Yep.
really bad about it. Okay. um, there are a few racetracks out there that are like that. It have some features that you have to take some extra precautions at.
Right.
But for the most part, like look at Gingerman. What the hell can you even hit at Gingerman?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
You could have a brake
it's
failure and you're probably gonna be
unreal how
fine.
there has been guys with extreme brake failure and have hit nothing.
Yeah.
I've sent multiple cars off in all sorts of different directions there and never hit a damn thing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you can't or you can't get hurt. You absolutely can. The risk is always there. I'm just saying it is one of the safer tracks in the country, and most tracks are striving to be that.
Yeah, and
So,
I've had to, crack down on my friends, saying, well, if you can't afford to go to the racetrack, you can learn a little bit on the street. The answer is no, you can't. The amount of learning you get per minute on a racetrack is 100 times higher than you get on the street. And that's to say nothing about the difference in safety factors.
yeah.
So
Yeah, for the most part.
street is not legit. Now it's two different things. So driving urgently, it is so much fun, and I recommend it to everybody. Just like you said, do not do it in the city of Chicago because you put everybody's lives in danger, and it's not
Yeah.
even a good idea. It's not even fun.
I'm
But out in the
talking get the hell
countryside,
away from like everybody.
yeah, get
Yeah.
away from civilization, and then it's a
Yep.
great time, and you should go do that because it's like just a very spiritually enjoyable experience. But
Yep.
do not cross the double yellow line on these tollgate roads. That is a
Spirited
line.
driving can be a ton of fun. It's just, for God's sakes, stay the fuck in your lane.
Yep.
There's no reason whatsoever to be crossing the center. None.
Yep.
There's literally nothing there
No.
for you. You
No,
know?
yeah, I don't see clout doesn't pay either. There's nothing to be gained, not even in Instagram clout.
Yep.
So, yep, that's that. That's awful. So next on the list, Randy update. So
Oh yeah, let's talk
Randy's
about
car.
Randy. Randy has been waiting a minute for his car to get done, and there he is. All right, we're gonna invite him in here.
Get Randy on the phone. Let's go.
Let's get Randy on the phone.
So in the chat.
Randy!
In the chat.
Hey, the rumor is your car's done.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun summer, hopefully.
Dude, I'm super stoked. So those of you guys who do not know Randy, Randy's pretty OG. He's been around in the RS25 forum community for a really long time. He's been a GC dude forever. I knew Randy way before I worked at IAG. Randy and I have been chatting for a million years. Now we work together, and he decided to build himself he's had this GC forever, but decided to get pretty crazy. So I don't know if you got your build list up, but you want to go through the basics of what you did, the engine, the turbo.
If I can remember it all, there's a lot done.
You did a 2.3D stroker, right?
Yeah, 2.3D stroker. Garrett G30 770 with the rotated kit by ETS.
Yep.
Link G4 standalone tuned by Mike McGinnis.
Yep.
With
very nice.
Motec display, Plasma Man intercooler front mount.
Yep.
1300 cc injector dynamic injectors. We did the
all of those 1300 cc injectors. Holy shit.
15 STI steering rack, JDM 5th and 6th gears, and then we did our IAG carbon synchro set as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what did you end up making on the dyno?
It ended up being with I think with E85, it was like around 540.
Oh, dude, yeah.
All of those 1300s then. Are you
all
sure
right.
you're not on 17s?
What?
Are you sure you're not on 1700s? We're using 13s for that?
Yeah, 13s. That was recommended by Mike.
All right, hey.
All right, so Mike went to 100 duty cycle, right?
I mean, I'm going to be totally honest. This is more than enough to start with.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
exactly your starter car. You've been driving this thing for a while, but this is the first time that you're gonna have like serious power, because you went from you just had a Yield Basic 2-liter before this. What turbo were you on that old 2-liter setup?
It was a Blausch 16G, I think.
Yeah, so we're talking 300 some horsepower. You basically.
I didn't even run 300 at the track. I ran more like 260 to make it very reliable.
So you basically doubled your horsepower.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
And I even asked Mike to just give me like the lowest boost setting on spring pressure to start with. So we'll see how it goes.
No, this thing's gonna cook, man. Now I've been hammering on Randy. I'm like, you're now making street mod power, okay? But you have no aero.
In time, it'll happen.
Oh man, Randy's gonna need that aero. I'm telling you right now. But I'm really stoked at how this engine turned out. I'm excited for you to drive it. I'm super stoked. It's it's been a while coming. You guys ran into all sorts of stuff, some weird shit with your fuel system was eating fuel pumps and just
Ooh, yeah.
all sorts of crap. You had some wiring stuff he dealt with for a while. It was like the car was fighting everything.
So Randy's dropping photos in the chat. He's got the massive air intake, which means big power, and a reverse intake manifold. So yeah, that's as serious as it gets.
He's got that Corsa Veloce manifold too. You see those TE37s? What's up, boy? Yep.
Serious as a heart attack.
GC8, so it's a white hard top. I think it started as an L, did it not?
Yeah.
Yep. So he's an L, so slick top. Also, just like Boogey. But his is way cleaner. His car is so clean. He's got a really nice roll cage in it. The car is absolutely spectacular.
Yep. That looks fantastic.
Yep. And those
so you had some trouble with it.
E37s, just chef's kiss. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping maybe we can do some grid life and be fun, and hopefully no issues. I mean, pretty much the entire car is, I mean, everything is brand new on it. The engine, trans, suspension, wheels, fuel system. Yeah, so there shouldn't be any issues, knock on wood.
No, I mean, I got to be real with any car like this. You know, first time you go to the track, there's going to be some shakedown stuff. I'm sure we're going to find something. Okay. But in like anything major, I think you've got it really sorted out. You know what I mean? I think this thing's going to be an absolute just monster. I'm super excited to see results.
Yeah, and by the way, I wanted to shout out to Dylan and Fred. Like Dylan worked his ass off on this thing, so total props to him. I can't thank him enough. I know I've already told him like 1,000 times, but still.
Yep. I know it took
Dylan.
a tag team effort between Dylan and Fred too, because Fred was actually the one who found out whatever. It's like a check valve or something that was doing some weird shit in your fuel system, and it was eating fuel pumps, and like it was, oh my God. Yeah, it was something crazy. So those are those things that, you know, Dylan did the majority of the work on this car, but then like ran into this wall with that, and that was tough. And finding stuff like that, sometimes the best thing is to have a a second set of eyes. And yeah, they managed to get it. It's sick.
Yeah. Building a car that looks like that, it takes multiple artists that are very good at what they do.
Absolutely. It takes a village, man.
Yep, sure does.
Yeah, absolutely. They did a fantastic job. So I'm really excited to show everyone the car. It's been a while since I've driven it, because I think the last time it was one of the Subaru only track events at Gingerman like 2 years ago. I went out on my outlap, immediately had Rod knock and brought the car in, and that was a year and a half ago.
Oh no! So you went from Subaru Speed Expo, which is a really cool event. You should all do it.
Ooh, anybody got any good interior pictures of Randy's car? You got Safety Mike is like excited to see safety stuff.
Maybe somewhere.
Yeah, you can't dirtbag him like that. Ooh, that's where we were and where we're at now, and you're gonna have to make one more here soon. Dude, I know that car looks super basic, but it's super basic in all the right ways. Like it's really good. It's really good. I'm really stoked. She's gonna cook, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That thing's gonna be a handful, especially not having aero. It's gonna be a handful, but it's gonna make it a ton of fun to drive.
I think I'll be okay for a little bit, but yeah, it'll eventually get aero. But I just want to do it the way I want it, because I'm picky about everything. So
picky's a very good word for you to use. I would say neurotic, but you're good, dude. I think
really
all
good.
of us are really stoked.
I want something that's kind of on the balance of like OEM plus, but still functional. It's hard to do that, you know?
It absolutely is. And not only that, you've got a cage and everything else, and what you want to do with this car. It's very hard. You had some pretty serious scope creep when you from how you started this build to where you ended this build, you know?
Yeah.
Like it turned into while I'm in here, I might as well like just laundry list of shit. And it went from what I was telling him to do, which was the 450 horsepower car to a rotated D-stroker, 500 some horsepower car.
I could buy the argument for OEM plus, but OEM plus at 500, I don't know, man. That's out
I
there.
don't know if you can call it OEM plus, but you could call it extreme OEM maybe.
Yeah, OEM extreme. Yep.
Yeah, his big thing is he absolutely does not want to put fender flares on the car.
No.
And is having a really hard time coming to terms with like even like a wide body kit or something because it's not OEM enough. But he needs more tire and he desperately needs aero.
Okay. Dude, that's gonna be a riot. So
yeah,
A plus for getting that car done.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him go rip laps in this thing. I'm gonna be real. It's gonna be really hard to get usable data from it as far as like a driver standpoint because this thing's going to wiggle around. It's gonna be fun. It might not be. It'll be fast on the straights. It's probably gonna be a little bit of a handful in the corners. Like a fast lap in this, I think is gonna be a little tail out, which is gonna be, oh my god, the pictures that are gonna come from this car are gonna be so good. Look, you might not win, but you're really winning. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Nope,
I'm super stoked. It's gonna be awesome, man. So
yep.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully I can get your input on the car and drive it. You can drive it too as well.
Yeah, we'll put in some laps. I'm gonna be real, especially with it not having aero, and it's gonna be a bullet. I'm gonna be driving this thing like 4/10, but
I'm okay with that.
Give you some input on it. At 4/10, this thing is going to still be a bullet. Yeah, it's gonna be a really good time. Yeah, maybe we'll try to we're gonna try to do some testing with Boogey. Maybe we can try to link up and just head that same direction together.
That'd be good.
Is this like a Gobstopper 1 type build? Is it to that level?
I wouldn't call it that. Like Gobstopper was its own monster, but I'm gonna no. Okay. You need to go look at the Gobstopper thread again.
Okay.
If anybody's got a few minutes, go put the Roger Clark Motorsports Gobstopper thread in the chat. I love Randy, and Randy knows everything about Gobstopper as much as I do because I'm sure he followed that thread the exact same way. Randy will tell you this is not a Gobstopper build.
Okay.
No, I mean mostly the car. I just wanted to like be on like a GT3 level, actually, to be honest.
Yes, and that's kind of the vibe I get is if Subaru ever were to kind of do a GT3 RS,
Yeah.
And he's doing a very good job of putting something like that together. I think we do need to put some aero on it, but I think Randy's biggest holdup on that is Street Mod Aero looks like Unlimited Aero from 15 years ago, and it's kind of gaudy, and I could see it not playing with the vibe of what he's trying to put together here.
It doesn't fit the aesthetic.
Trying to strike that balance and still get the function he wants out of it, it's going to be tough. So instead of just throwing shit at it, he's going to sit there and stare at it for a while and see what he's okay with. And I appreciate the living shit out of that approach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's really easy to just throw shit at a car and then go, okay, we'll figure it out.
Yep. Sounds so familiar, doesn't it?
Be careful with it all.
Yep.
Cool. Oh my god, that is just mega clean. So A plus.
Yep. Oh, there's an interior pic.
Interior photo. Yeah. It's a nice looking cage.
Put his dash and everything back in, but the cage is real nice.
Yeah, I didn't have any kind of support for the dash before I went to Daytona, and my whole worry was like, you can just blow a tire at Daytona and just go right in the wall. So I decided to have it upgraded a bit. And there's probably honestly too much cage for just a, non-competitive car, but that's okay with me.
Your cage and my cage look very similar. We both have way more cage than what we need, and that's okay.
Yeah, but and I mean, there's lots of improvements that could have been done with the A-pillar too close a little bit, but it's stuff that I can work on later. But
we drive 90s grocery getter shit boxes that go way faster than they were ever intended to. So there's no such thing as too much cage, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just try to tell everyone not to do harness bars for the love of God.
Oh God,
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no. A properly built harness bar will save your life, okay? Because you can attach your harnesses to it. Oh, I
Mm,
see what you're saying. Harness bar, you're talking basic bitch harness bar,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
doing a cage. Yeah, absolutely not. If top gear, top tip, whatever. Uh,
don't.
do not, absolutely do not think you're okay with a harness bar in a Subaru. You absolutely are not. Okay? Do not do harness bars. They're all shit. Every single one of them. I don't care if it's the Sparco one, the Energy one, you know, some fancy whatever brand that says it's good for track use. Absolutely are not. And you are also not okay with attaching harnesses to the ground. And honestly, you're really not okay with attaching harnesses to non-fixed back seats. So if
Exactly.
you're gonna do it, you kind of at least need a rear cage. So there you go.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah.
clean.
Well, Randy,
A plus.
we're stoked. Hopefully we can do more. And yeah, dude, I'm psyched for your car to be done. I'm psyched for you to rip laps and we get to go have a good time together.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Should be a fun year.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
All right, see you guys.
Bye, Randy.
All
All
right.
right. Next on the list, this is actually a bonus that came in hot off the presses. Subaru announces global debut of 2 new SUVs at the 2025 Chicago Auto Show next week.
What the what?
Yeah, so I think there's some
That's what we need is more SUVs.
there's some words doing some work here, but I think one of them's got to be a redesigned Outback that looks like an SUV. So okay, we can hand wave that one away, but the other one I guess would be what? Is it time for a new generation Ascent, I guess?
Ascent slash so what is this going to replace the Ascent and or kind of the area that the Tribeca held? Are they gonna? Is this Ascent 2.0? What is it? Is it a
I
Solterra that doesn't suck?
Gosh, maybe it's that we know that the new Crosstrek hybrid is coming to the Chicago Auto Show, but that's technically already been announced. So this is brand new, fresh. I would think that it's just existing models, but I don't know. I could be wrong. So something
So
to
I learned
investigate
a
next
little
week.
more about the Solterra and whatever the Toyota version of that was.
The BZ4X, yeah, worst name in
Oh my!
America.
The amount that Toyota just absolutely put no effort into that at all. Yeah, that I heard it wasn't good. I didn't realize how bad it was. Like it is bad. The range is
Mm,
terrible.
charging
Like
speeds are terrible.
the charging speeds are terrible. Like it's not quick. Like the car itself is just boring as shit and
Yeah,
put together kind of like ass. And they're
I can't see the
borderline giving
dashboard.
them away right now.
Oh yeah, they're like under 40 grand, and that's before the federal tax credits for 7
Mhm.
grand. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just remember not being able to see the speedometer because the wheel was in the way because I couldn't move the wheel high enough. I've
Okay,
never
you
had
better
that.
tell me that that is not the Outback. You better tell me
Um,
that that's an AI render or some shit.
ooh, I that has got to be an AI render. It is going to be boxy.
Okay, thank God that's AI, because I was gonna be like, dude, that looks like a frickin' Trailblazer and a Explorer decided to have a three-way with a frickin', I don't know,
That's
VB or
what
something.
happened when the new Forester came out. The front end looked like a Ford Explorer. Everything else looked fine. So,
Oh.
yep, new Outback's definitely getting more boxy. Question is, who else is it going to be? What other car?
Well,
So,
why? Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not feeling any of this, but what the fuck do I know?
squared off fender arches, yeah. So the design language, it's been telegraphed for a little while.
I wonder if what they're trying to do is make something that looks like along the lines of the like the first and second gen Foresters.
Yeah, I could see that. Back when
Okay. The
people loved
problem is
Subarus.
those cars were significantly smaller. Like
Yes.
this is going to be a full size SUV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Outback should stay wagon. Totally
I
agree.
totally agree with that.
Chat delivers.
Chat delivers.
Yep. So
You're
we
wrong.
will see. I will tell you all about it. So you and I have been talking. I think I'll record some content from the Chicago Auto Show, and then we will
Yes.
discuss it at a later date.
No, I think it's going to be great. I think you should, and then you go and record a nice little interview with them, and then you and I can then have a discussion about said interview, and
Yeah. Yep.
I
So
think it'll be good.
I'm going on Thursday this year, which is new. That's the actual media day. Normally I go on Friday, which is social media day, and
Well,
it's very
you're
quiet.
of course you're going on actual media day because the IAG Thursday thing is that important.
That's right. Reporter on location.
Yes.
Global news first. So, yeah, that's the
Warranty
story.
on location.
That's right. So, all right, next topic. We've got Boogeyman update. What is going on with Boogeyman? We started talking about this before we started recording, so it doesn't count. Tell me everything again.
All right. Well, since we're talking about race cars and stuff like that, and Randy's car is done, uh we're starting to poke at Boogeyman again. Dylan's starting to mess around with some stuff. We got some new parts in already. The big thing that we got in that we were really excited to start messing around with is the Volvo power steering pump, the electric power steering pump. Today or tomorrow, the controller for the can is showing up. So we learned some stuff in a very short period of time. Shout out to Adam Wood, who's actually in the chat right now, but he's been really helpful with giving us information and stuff he needed. And Adam, in his GLTC car, which was quite a bit lighter, basically said he was running around without can hooked up, and when you do that, it kind of goes into like a fail-safe mode, and it runs at 70% all the time. Well, he's like, you're gonna need all of it, especially with a 2015 rack,
Right.
and you having aero. So we needed a way to turn it up to 100%. So we got this little can controller thing that we're going to be able to ramp it up. So
Very
we're pretty
cool.
excited about that. We're going to be able to at least feed it power through the PDM, like the signal to turn on and off. So I can just use my switch panel to turn it on and off, which is actually really cool because I can turn it on if I need to. It's say we need to push the car around.
Oh yeah. Ooh, that would be super helpful.
It doesn't need the engine to turn it. So
Man, look at you. That's like better than OEM.
Under load, it takes a huge amount of power. I think Dylan said 90 amps.
90 amps? What?
Yeah, it's nuts. So we're giving it its own dedicated like fuse and power thing. Like we're not going to run it through the PDM
Oh my
for
gosh.
its main power. It's so much. And
That's
also the biggest
the
reason we're doing that is we want to be able to remove it if we're like, this isn't working out. We want the ability to be able to change it without having to like go hack wiring to pieces.
I was gonna say, I mean, some alternators are 120 amps or maybe 180 amps nowadays, but 90, that is a huge chunk.
It's a huge chunk. Now I think it's like that's max, and I'm sure it only spikes to that every once in a while. I'm
Right.
I mean, so like let's say it was pulling a huge amount of that draw. I have a hard time believing that the battery wouldn't, cover it for however long it needed that. You know what I mean?
Right. You have a full size battery too, so that'll give you the big power.
It's a fairly full size anti-gravity.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
Got it.
but it puts out. We should be fine. Like I'm not worried about that. It'll put out what I
Anti-gravity is just big power at like a quarter of the weight. So yeah, you
yeah.
don't have
We're gonna be okay.
you don't have motorcycle batteries. What it
We're
is.
gonna be out at the limits. We're actually seriously like considering should we get a bigger alternator though.
So Square Wheel in the chat, most newer EJ alternators are 110 amps at speed. The 3.6 liter alternator is 130 amps at speed, 50 amps at idle on those 110 amp alternators. Okay, yeah, so you're going to eat most of the alternator, but it'll just pull from the battery, right? Then just recharge.
Yeah, for a spike, I think we're going to be okay. Again, I'm not a wiring expert by any means, but I think for a spike, we're going to be totally fine. And most people say they're totally fine on these. They're shoving these things in Miatas and shit.
Oh,
So,
cool. Okay.
Yeah, and there are plenty of people who have been running them in like large V8 cars. What I was worried about was I see him in Miatas. Adam Wood's been running his. I'm seeing him stuck in these small cars. Well, that doesn't take a whole lot of load. You know what I mean? Then I saw some guys who are running around in like drift Camaros that are running these things, and they're like, "This ain't working out." But then come to find out that they weren't controlling can in any way. And they thought when they hooked it up, it just ran 100% all the time.
100%.
It doesn't.
Got it. Yep.
70. So
well, good for you for doing your homework then. That'll be the difference.
Ooh. Hey guys, listening from Australia, love the show. Own
multiple
multiple
STIs.
STIs. Hell yeah, dude. Love it. Love it. That's
time
great.
Is it in Australia? Time
Dude.
in Sydney.
It's got to be the middle of the damn night.
It's 8:36 a.m. Look at that.
8:30. Oh, he must have just woke up. All right. Yep. Kane, hey, man, nice to have you on. That's awesome.
Yep. And then if he's in Perth, it's 5:37 a.m. So that's on the west side.
Yeah, that's still the morning.
Yeah, good deal. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, my good friend probably has the fastest STI in Australia. I'd love to talk to him. I probably know who it is. Hit him up.
Hell yeah. Get him on the show. Get him on the
show, man. Well, we'd be more than happy to have him on and chat with him. I would love to talk about the Subaru scene down in Australia. That would be fun. I want to talk to some OGs in Australia who've been doing it since like the 90s, that have been around a really long time. Like way before. I want to know if the US getting the WRX, how much that affected the scene there.
Oh yeah, that's a great question.
Yep.
I'll put it on the list. Put it on my ideas list.
Yeah, he's definitely OG. Well, let's chat, man. Hit him up. So, yeah, other than that, stuff we got going on with Boogey. I've been talking to a whole lot of the sponsors. Very excited about that. Pretty much everybody's back, which is great. Our main sponsors outside of IAG, we have, Fuel Lab, EBC, and then like our engine internal sponsors, JE and Manly, they're really excited about it. Mtron obviously is still with us. Turbo Smart's very excited about some of the stuff we're going to be doing.
Love Turbo Smart. Fantastic.
Yeah, you just love the name.
I love the name. Everything else is details. We should all strive to be Turbo Smart.
EBC is actually making their I'm going to have their first Apollo racing brake kit for a GD chassis. I will have the very first one in existence, and that's getting sent to me, which will solve the problem of us having brake rotor issues with what we have now. It should be quite a bit more of an advanced kit than what I have now, which is really exciting. So that should solve some of our issues with that.
Fantastic. Making moves.
We're having conversations with an up-and-coming wheel brand. We'll see where that goes. That's some fun stuff. We got some plans on changing some stuff as far as one of the things we want to do as fast as we can at a minimum is we're gonna design some side skirts. That kind of needs to happen.
Oh yeah, that brings us back a long time to when we saw some very nice looking side skirts on a very fast time attack car.
We have another company I'm talking to that deals with carbon fiber bits. That may or may not help us change up some stuff on our front end, which could be really fun and probably drastically improve the way the car looks. So yeah, we got a lot of moving parts right now. But we got a lot of shit we got to do. I'm on a set of Motegi wheels right now, and Motegi no longer exists. They sponsored me, gave us a whole bunch of wheels, and then fell off the face of the earth. So we're not 100% sure what we're going to do with those. And I got to be, now that I don't like, I'm not trying to look a gift horse in the mouth. Okay. It was really cool to have a wheel sponsor, and it really helped us out because it gave us the option to have multiple wheels, which is something I haven't had ever. We had a set of rain wheels for the first time ever. It was really cool. Okay. But those wheels were fucking ugly.
Oh, come on now. We went back and forth on this. You take that back now. Come on.
I can't, man. I can't. They were even the guy who sent them to me was surprised how far off of white they were. They were not white. They were like
cream colored.
Let's say cream. Yes, we'll call it cream colored. And it just it wasn't too bad if you left all the brake dust on. It came across as white. In most pictures, it looked white.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. And not only that, they were a little on the heavy side.
Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but
and it is what it is. It isn't that they're bad wheels. It's just there was some other stuff that
I want to hammer on the color because you pull them out of the box, you go, oh, these are ugly, and then at the end of the weekend, you're like, oh, this color's growing on me. So I'm laughing that you went back to these wheels are ugly.
I mean, so long story short, this wheel brand that we're working with right now, and I can't really go too much into detail with it. they're trying to do some pretty extreme stuff, and I'm really excited about some of the concepts that they have, and they need a car with the visibility of Boogey.
Mm-hmm. And a nut job that will actually tell you, I don't like the way these wheels feel. They're too heavy. They flex too much. Turn that around.
Like, well, it's gonna get tested with us. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm gonna bang track curbing. I'm gonna put 10 years worth of wear on it in 3 events.
Yep.
And so if they do have a structural problem, we're gonna find out real effing fast. But they have plans on some really wild colors and some really awesome designs. And
okay, that's cool.
I gotta be real, it's one of the things I always kind of liked about Ken Block's like Gymkhana stuff is like I always loved to see what he was gonna do with the wheels. Okay. And
yeah. He was a
really,
trendsetter for sure.
Super trendsetter. And I really want to like, you know, I don't think we'll ever be Ken Block level, but I want to be able to, you know, experiment with some cool stuff. You know, there's some wheels that no longer exist. I don't know if anybody saw the post I had up on my wall, but there's some wheels that no longer exist anymore that I really wish did exist. And we had a lot of conversations, him and I going back and forth, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna ask the general public of what wheels they wish still existed to kind of get a vibe of like, what do people like now, and what do people like? What did they like? You know, what would the OGs kind of wish would come back? You know, to help them see if we could find some holes in the market, and I think they absolutely nailed it. But again, nice. I can't really share any of it, but I'm excited. If that pans out, that's great. If it doesn't, whatever. So yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff with Boogey. I know people are going to be asking, well, sequential. We're working on it. Okay. The problem is, I gotta be real. I gotta invent like 13 grand, and I just don't have that right now. So we're talking with some people about some stuff, and I don't know, you know, anybody, you know, wanna help out with some sponsorship and know some people, I'm sure I can find some real estate on the car and we could do some great social media together. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But as it stands right now, people seem to think that we're just oozing cash, and we are not. We are not.
Takes a lot. Takes a lot to win a championship, that's for sure. So
it takes a village, but we get the sequential in there due to the way the rules changed. We're really excited about that, and we've got a really sweetheart deal worked out with a great company. We're stoked. We're real stoked about what could be. It could be a massive game changer. Because that's literally going to, people are like, man, you're gonna be able to shift so fast. I could give 2 shits less about how fast I'm shifting. That's not really worth as much time as you think it is. The fact that it's going to be pretty hard to miss a gear, that's huge. So there's a consistency advantage to that, but the big thing, the big time advantage is actually going to be opening up my left foot. And I'm not saying, you know, there are better drivers out there than me that can do the pedal dance back and forth really well. My brain does not work like that. So I either my right foot is doing brake and gas or my left foot is doing braking. My left foot cannot do braking and clutch. I can't bounce back and forth. So it's 2 pedals only that I can manipulate. So being able to open up my left foot for braking is going to change everything. And it's not for slowing the car down. It's for using it to rotate the car. Yep. Being able to trail into a corner and lift the brakes slowly is going to, I can set the car up drastically different. And I'm going to be able to put more weight on the front tires to bring the car in and keep it significantly tighter, using the brakes to keep weight on the front tires. And that's going to allow me to get on the throttle so much sooner that it's going to change the way we approach alignment on this car and suspension settings on this car drastically.
Yeah, that's, who is it? Mario Andretti that said it's surprising how many people think that brakes are for slowing the car.
Yes. And there no truer words have ever been spoken. Woo! Yeah. Look at that interior boy, first gen.
Australians do it right, man. That is clean.
That is so clean.
A+.
You guys are so lucky you got GCs when you did.
Yep.
It still astounds them when I'm like, yeah, we really didn't get turbo Imprezas till Bug Eyes. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we only got WRXs when we first got them, and they were neutered too.
Yeah.
Like, it was till 04 that we got anything worth a shit.
Yeah. So next on the list, let's take a look. Got everything said about Boogey Man?
So we've been talking Boogey, track stuff. And we're excited about this season. You know who else is going to be excited about this season and has already made some serious commitments to it? SubiMods.
Oh, yes. All right, let's talk about that.
So SubiMods, I was just talking to Nick, who was on the podcast, I don't know, like a month or two back, something like that. Nick and I were chatting about different stuff, and he's like, yeah, we got some badass projects coming together. I wanted to hit them up because I saw they've got a really bitchin' Instagram reel. You should go check it out. But it's basically just showing, they're kind of teasing the two engines that they're building. They're putting together two cars. Okay. So I started chatting, and he's like, yeah, I don't know if you heard yet, but SubiMods actually signed up to be a Grid Life partner. That means they're kind of like a super sponsor. Okay, so they're a partnering sponsor with Grid Life, which is that is a massive commitment from a company standpoint to do that.
Yeah.
So they're building two cars to run a few different things. He didn't tell me too much. I got some theories, and yeah, I might have them on the show, and we're gonna talk about like what they're putting together. But last time we were on the show, we were talking about like, man, you got to come do Grid Life. You got to come do this. And he's like, yeah. It sounds like something we'd want to do. Yeah. And man, I'm not trying to take credit for it, but there is absolutely no way that he didn't take some of that to heart and went, fuck it, we're going all in. Because they're going all in. And it's exciting. They got two really, really badass looking engines. They got a really well put together EJ with a small rotated turbo on it. I'm assuming, I don't know how small that turbo is, actually, so take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's going to be a GLGT car. I don't know if that's going to be a street mod car. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that thing. And then they have a FA, which the way the header's set up is giving me vibes of that goes into a BRZ. That, again, I don't know if that's a drift car. I don't know if that's a GLTC or GLGT car. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I can tell you they kind of show off the VA that they're messing around with, and then they don't show anything about the BRZ, but I'm stoked, man. I think those guys are doing some cool shit over there. And this just goes to show party's moving towards the track. And now other companies are starting to see it. That's exciting.
Yes, it is.
I can't talk too much about some of the stuff we talked about, but what I can say is I have a feeling there's going to be some really big community stuff coming. And
good.
Track-oriented community stuff, and stay tuned for that. Okay. As soon as some of that stuff gets hashed out, I have a really sneaky suspicion Nick's going to want back on this show, and we're going to talk about the possibilities of what. But a lot of this is super high level stuff they're working on, and it would be cool. I hope I can be a part of it in some way. I'm not sure what that would be, but a rising tide raises all boats.
Sure does.
And I think that's I think it's absolutely fantastic. Whatever comes out of that, really, really excited about it.
Yeah, I can tell.
I truly think, like, people are like, the next golden age would be sweet. I think we're in it. I don't think people understand how good we have it right now. And I think shit's starting to get, especially with the way Grid Life is growing, top level contenders. And I'm not trying to put us too much on a pedestal, but we did win a championship, and, we're consistently at the top of what honestly is one of the most, if not the most competitive classes in Grid Life. And
or United States Time Attack, period.
And yeah, well, in North American Time Attack, period. And we're, as far as by numbers, just for attendance, not only on track and off track, we're the largest time attack organization on the planet.
Holy cow.
Okay, so we're huge. Some of us top level competitors, this is, man, I want to say this without coming across conceited, but we have to start understanding our value. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
At a certain point, it's very easy to look at somebody who's running like IMSA or something like that, and they've got serious sponsorship. You know what I mean? It costs an absurd amount of money to run that. And I'm not saying it doesn't cost a lot of money to run this, but I think sponsorship, because of the numbers they're actually able to produce now, being able to show those numbers and show those to a potential sponsor this is going to start looking a lot more enticing. I have a feeling we're about to see an influx of money into Grid Life through sponsorships of the actual drivers, and they're going to have to actually understand their value.
Yeah. Wow, man. Golden age of time attack in America. Second golden age.
It'd be the second golden age, because last time this happened, what you had was a lot of, you're talking 2000s. A huge amount of money was being poured into time attack through these manufacturers who just got out of drag racing, because drag racing kind of fell apart. And they were looking for the next big thing, and the sponsorships and stuff were set up a lot like that. And what you had is corporations building time attack cars and stuff to go show off what they could do. So you had like Tomei and HKS and stuff. And this is in the US. Tomei and Cusco took Tarzan Yamada and ran that Impreza and events all over the country, running around with Redline Time Attack. They brought that from Japan to run here. That was so wild seeing them at Autobahn. You know what I mean? I took pictures of Tarzan Yamada. So they campaigned all over the country. Hell, it was on MSNBC for a while. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it had a TV deal. And I gotta be real, I don't know how far off like Grid Life is from something like that. Dylan is even said, he's like, I got a feeling what's gonna happen here soon is like the main contenders for a lot of these classes, people we kind of have to have there, we're gonna start getting looked at as like a product. And we're going to have to commit to running, a certain number of events. Their main events that we're going to have to commit to being there. If you want to be a part of it, you need to run the full season.
Right. Give it a fair shot.
And not only give it a fair shot, but if they're going to present Grid Life as a product to sponsors and stuff like that, as a media product, you can't have weeks where LeBron doesn't play. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to watch it when LeBron's not playing. I hope that not too much sponsor money comes in, because then it ruins it for everybody and it implodes on itself. But if it's just slowly increasing the volume, then yeah, that has the
I'm
potential to live for a long time
too. But I think Grid Life's really doing a good job of still pushing the grassroots narrative. And I'm hoping that's working as like a spigot, a spigot to like open and close like really just trying to slowly open the valve instead of just cranking the thing open, because if you just crank it open, it just washes it just goes to shit real fast.
Yeah.
What's going to be terrifying, and I don't know if it's going to happen in Time Attack right away, but it is scary. I don't think we're too far off of seeing like somebody like a Hyundai trying to go, we're going to make an impression, and saying, here's factory money to some, fairly notable race team. They go to like a Wayne Taylor or something like that and go, we want to go win with this car. And
yeah, dude, we were talking about that a couple months ago, which is it doesn't take a phenomenal amount of money to get a lot done with, let's say, either a JV team from one of these factories. Like Hyundai has the talent in their first
absolutely
1 to 4 year hires, that you give them just a small amount of money to go racing. These men and women, young men and women, will just eat it up, and it will look great on everybody.
What I'm going to get proven right this year. I'm telling you. Scott Speed with Project Midnight will 100% be at least one grid life event running on the new.
I think you're right, and I regret taking that bet, but I will sign that dollar and I will give it to you because it's very important to keep your word.
That shit's coming, man, and I've been calling it for a while. That shit is coming. I don't know. Have you been watching any of the latest launch control episodes?
A little bit. I think I'm 1 or 2 episodes behind right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna talk about this and spoil some
Yeah,
shit.
that's fine. Go for it. I don't mind.
So Travis ended up getting second in the championship again. And to be perfectly honest, like open class is getting lame. Okay. And it's Subaru's fighting themselves. That's all they're really doing. And
it's very mechanic on.
Kinda like not. I mean, it's such a hard thing to put that amount of money in when honestly, launch control is the main place most people learn about the results and all they're reporting on a Subaru.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it sounds like they're going to try to do something a little different for Travis, and I think he's going to drop down to whatever the class is under it that's more production based.
Okay.
And they're building something that's a little more realistic and something
like group A?
Kind of group A-ish.
Classical, like,
well, if
manual transmission.
No, I've got a theory on this. If you watch the videos that just came out in the background when they were talking about this, there's a GC back there that is caged and gutted, body in white.
Okay. Body in white. Oh,
yeah. It is a currently being prepped chassis. Boom! Somebody just pulled the picture.
Thank you, Randy. You're on it.
I have a feeling they're building him a Group A Colin McRae style car.
That's a very body in white. That thing is
very. They're prepping that chassis. That is in there. We're working on this motherfucker area right now.
Interesting.
I'm excited. I hope that's what they're doing, and I want to see a return to more of that style, like much more limited. I hope they don't destroy it. Okay, I hope they don't just show up and destroy that class. What I want them to do is go there and have to fight with normal people. Yeah, they got the money. They're gonna be there, and that's always gonna be a huge advantage. But this sounds bad. I kind of want them to lose. I want Travis to go down there and have a hard fight to the end of the season and lose, and that motivates them to, continue on, get better, and improve. But because there's a story there, because right now, no offense to these guys, the story is them versus them.
Yeah. And there's not much drama there. Yeah.
There's not much drama there. And I think even they can admit there's not much drama there. But, oh, man.
I think that's a great idea. You and I both like small boxes when it comes to rule sets.
Yes.
You love GCs. They
could do it with a GC or a GD. What they're trying to do is do it with a relatable chassis. Something that you could still go pick up a GC or a GD, build it in your garage. Yeah, this is Vermont sports car and their shit's going to be nicer. Okay, but you could feasibly put the damn thing together in your garage and go fight with Travis Pastrana. And I think that could save rallying.
I agree with that. I don't think a GC is a relatable chassis, but that's just me, and you're the expert. I don't work in the industry.
Why do you think a GC is not relatable?
Because I'm not buying a GC. And I'm buying whatever's the newest car. And Subaru stopped selling an STI, so I stopped buying a WRX. So, there's a lot of people younger than us that only know the VB chassis. You could not campaign a VB in a stock type class in rally. I believe. I think that would be weird, and I don't think it would win.
It would suck, and not only that, this is why it's relatable warranty. For you to go get a VB right now, it's $40,000. For you to go find a clean GC, okay, that you're going to turn into a rally car to start. Because you got to understand, you're going to take everything in that VB and throw it in the garbage. You're literally buying
Right.
a $40,000 shell.
No,
Or
yeah,
you're
that's
buying
not
a $5,000 shell.
right. Right.
How is that not relatable?
I'm just saying, like, regular people are not building rally cars right now. It's very rare. It's kind of
No.
dying.
But
think
if you can say you could pick this shell up for $5,000 and you could see that's a GC or that's an old bug eye or something like that, a 18-year-old kid could go like see a bug eye on the side of the road for sale and go, I think I saw Travis Pastrana rallying one of those, and like do some research and go, you know what I mean?
Okay,
That's
if
the rabbit
there's
hole they need to fall into.
if there's enough of them out there, I guess I'm thinking about this the wrong way. I'm thinking about how do you sell more new cars versus like how do you inspire other people to join rally? Like if that's the case,
So first off, you
GCs.
gotta ask yourself, is this Subaru backed or is this Vermont Sports Car backed? You don't know.
Sure.
You cannot just assume Vermont Sports Car is Subaru. If
No,
they're gonna
no,
use
no, I
Subaru,
know.
I don't know where that money's coming from.
I agree. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
So we don't know that. We don't and like the Huckster. How is that GL wagon? And it is in one way, but
Okay.
you're trying to make Subarus cool in one way or another by using Travis to drum up nostalgia of Colin McRae with old rally cars. I'm sorry, it helps the brand. It just does.
Yeah, the Huckster was like just high horsepower Subaru, and it looks good on Instagram. It looks sick on Instagram. So,
How is this not going to look good on Instagram?
you know, playing to nostalgia is a little bit weird, especially because Travis has been a Subaru race car driver for what 20 years between all of the X Games
Yeah,
and the stuff now.
yeah,
Like,
probably, yeah.
so it's I don't know, man. I'm I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just thinking about it in different dimensions. So, rally GC, the match made in heaven.
This
But
is not. There's one more degree to it than race on.
Sunday
Race on Sunday.
and sell on Monday. I know. I agree.
There's one more degree to that. Now,
Right.
with that, like from an IAG standpoint, all we do is aftermarket Subaru. Like if we, you look at Boogey, if we're winning shit, we got an IAG engine. That's 1-to-1. You know what I mean? For this, they got to play some 3D chess. You know
Heritage
what I mean?
parts. If Subaru announced heritage parts, great idea. Build a GC, go rallying. I'm for it. 100%.
I don't think I don't think we're far off of that. I don't know if you saw this. There's a couple of companies in the UK that started remaking trim for GCs.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, so you're starting to see a bunch of this stuff. It's showing up in the GC Facebook groups, but yeah, link Dewey. It's in the GC Facebook groups. The dude posted it. I think you actually got tagged in it because Adam and I both got tagged in it.
Okay, I might have seen it, but it's been busy.
Yeah. Either way, super. Like you're seeing this because, and how long have I been saying this? All last year I ranted about this. Okay.
Yes, you did.
Resto Mod's coming. It's coming. Okay. And this sort of shit is gonna go for good money. There is gonna be room for a year one for Subarus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've seen 6-star turning out a lot of really nice Resto Mod GCs. So
yes,
the market's already there.
GDs, and I'm there's rat box shithole ones out there that there's a lot of them, and that's not okay. Those aren't going to be, but people going to buy good clean examples or taking theirs that they've had for a long time and saying finally I want to do it the right way. But they're not doing stage 2 or like just basic bolt-on stuff. They're doing full builds. Nose to tail, serious builds on these things.
I will say that we've talked about this before, but resto modded early Subarus are way underappreciated. It's universally hard to make a Subaru, but I think that probably has not peaked yet for resto mods.
Serapin Wolf in the chat, he's not lying. Like Bucky Lassick built Bucket.
Yeah.
And the second that car really hit, first gen prices exploded.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And like what used to be a $2,000 car is a $5,000 car now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still find clean ones all over down south. And yeah, the interior is probably going to be shitty. and you're probably going to have to put new dash in it and all that shit. But if the body is clean, you got something to start with.
Yeah, and if it's a rat box, take it rallying, I suppose.
Yep, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Coming.
What I really hope doesn't happen, and it might, is the GC and the GD turn into, because they are they're the preferred chassis for like group enter production based rally style stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And those cars immediately get trashed the same way all the 240 SXs did for drifters. And then
I could
clean
see that
ones
happening.
end up being 25 grand then.
I could totally see that
A
happening.
bug eye is $25,000 because, you know, and it's still a shit box. What a $5,000 bug eye is right now is a $25,000 car.
Yeah, I could see that happening because there's not an infinite number of bug eyes or GCs out there in the world. No, but some people already want them. So
yeah, and it's I don't know. We're gonna see what happens.
Find out.
We live in exciting times, though.
Well, we got another topic to cover.
Yeah.
Smaller shops not using social correctly. So tell me, Dewey, why is this on the list?
This one aggravates me. So here's a couple of things I want to talk about today. This actually happened today. I was talking to a smaller shop, and I'm not going to say where they were and who they were and what the situation is, but I've seen this a lot lately, and this one he's like, yeah, stuff's slowing down. I gotta be real. Shit ain't slowing down. The problem is a lot of these smaller shops, and I'm saying this because I know a lot of these shops listen to this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these shops that maybe started 5-6 years ago, or you know, the good old times were 2018 or whatever, and they're only focusing on like high horsepower street cars and or drag cars. That's all they do. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't scenes for that. Okay. The problem is you are not doing social correctly, first off. You're going to have to venture out of your local area. Maybe your local area isn't doing a bunch of that right now. What I can tell you is Subarus are not slowing down. Absolutely not slowing down. But you have to do more than just big power drag cars and show a car on the dyno anymore. Okay? Not everybody is Bader. Right?
Mm.
And not only that, you got to show something. So what I did today is a small shop. I was like, you don't have to do anything amazing. And I sent him to 6-Star Motorsports. I sent him to 6-Star Motorsports Facebook. Go look at their Facebook. See what they're doing. You know, go look at their Instagram. See what they're doing, because they're killing it.
Yes, they are.
And there's shops like that all over the country. Cosmic, killing it. You know, these shops are doing killer jobs, doing awesome builds, showing neat stuff, and communicating with the community. The only reason I know this guy is because he's bought some stuff from me. Okay, and I'm like, my guy, you need to build your community, and you need to start mixing it up in the community. These small shops, you need to put a priority. The work is no longer just going to kick your door in and say, I want 1,000 horsepower Subaru. You need to put a priority to becoming a name within the community.
Building the
community. To do that, it's not selling. It's content. It's helping. And just attaching your name to the help. Okay? So I can't stress this enough. Get out in the community. If somebody's like the example I told him, let's say there's a question in some Subaru board that says, you know, hey, I'm ripping this engine apart. You know, I had a bottom end failure. Can I just slap these heads back on and run it? You should go in and say, actually, what you should do is take it to your local machine shop or a local shop to you, and get the heads resurfaced, have them checked at a bare minimum. And if the car's got a bunch of mileage on it, maybe throw some valve springs in it, and let me know if you need any help, or drop me a PM. And put your name and your shop, okay? Not your phone number. Nah, I'm here to sell to you. None of that. You just give good info. Just good, solid info.
So people know who you are.
Reading through, they're like, man, that makes sense. You know what I mean? And like, if the community, the people working at shops and these people who are supposed to be pillars of the community need to start acting like it. This is why our community is such a shit show. Is we don't have these people out there doing that anymore. They're not putting the effort into it. The biggest reason they're not putting the effort into it is because 6-7 years ago, it was easier. But now social media is so flooded with noise that
Sure is. Yeah.
you need to be able to cut through that. Just be the voice of reason. Don't be very opinionated. Just give good, solid advice. Okay. The other thing local shops can do, in my opinion, is set up a meet, whether it's at the shop or not at the shop, a local restaurant that everybody likes, a sub shop or something like that. Set up a damn meet and go hang out over at it. Invite everybody. Okay. And, if you got a dyno there, run a few dyno days a year. Yeah, your guys are going to work their ass off. $100 for 3 poles. And there's going to be a shitload of strapping. Your dudes are going to hate life.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I've done that.
A lot of work. But,
be a great time, though.
For the community is great. It's great for the community. And make sure you're posting it in a bunch of boards and do good social stuff with it. And that's going to get stuff stirred up. You want to, if the weather is good for you now, if you're down south and you can get away with it, start on this shit immediately. Whatever you can do, but you need to interact with the community. You can't act like you're above it. That community is the reason you're there.
Sure. Totally agree.
I'm stressing with these guys, man, because they can kill it. The other thing is, yeah, you might specialize in something. Maybe it's what you love. And I'm guilty of this too, because I got to be real, I'm not huge into drag racing, but I help a lot of drag racers. Okay. But
cool.
If all you do is big power in drag racing and your area's really starting to get into time attack or just going to the track or whatever, maybe you need to at least go do some market research. Go to one of these events and see what's going on. Okay. Yeah. I'm guilty of this too. I am 100% guilty. Okay. But if you want advice, I'm giving you advice. Go to a Grid Life event and see what's going on. Get involved where the party is at, whether it's Grid Life or, you've got some sort of crazy local track drag, whatever. Fuck, even if it's Stance. God, Stance is dead.
No. You take that back. No.
I take that back. Don't promote Stance.
Go bankrupt. Don't feed Stance.
But see what's going on. And some of it is also you can build the community yourself, but you need to be socially active for that to happen. Okay. Now let's say you're an old codger. Social ain't your thing. Okay. If you don't want to go out of business or be looked at as a damn dinosaur, you need to get somebody in there who understands social and is willing to put that effort in. And you have got to look at that as a vital thing. That's as vital as doing oil changes and stuff is pushing social. So
I agree with that.
One of the things I'm looking into right now, and this is going to bore the shit out of you, but
okay.
In the next year, social selling, like QVC style social selling shit, is going to go fucking crazy.
Okay, tell me more about this.
Okay, it's going to go nuts. The problem is, for the type of product we sell, that doesn't make any sense. But have you seen these? Especially like jewelry and stuff like that?
I mean, I know what QVC does, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're doing it online all over the place now. They're doing social selling events where they'll go live on TikTok and sell the shit out of stuff.
Okay, interesting.
I'm telling you, it's coming.
Smaller dollars, I guess, work better for this, versus...
That's just it. And I'm I've been chewing on this on what could we do to be a part of that? And that might never make sense for us. You know what I mean?
But
and
it's on your radar, yeah.
But it's something that I want to look into. I just want to see, does this make any sense? It might never make sense. You may never see anything like that from us, but
something might come out of it that's
I feel like we should explore what that is, and maybe we can adapt it in some way. That's all I'm saying. And these small shops need to think about that.
Over, under, through.
Not just social selling, just new concepts. Okay. And they need somebody thinking about new concepts. So, yeah.
The world of business changes all the time. So if you're
And
not
the
moving, you're
second you
falling
think you
behind.
got something figured out,
It changes.
you're if you think you've got something figured out, that should scare you.
Yeah, because the world is
Okay,
still
and
moving.
I'm gonna be the first one to tell you that I am not the person to talk to on what the bleeding edge is, but man, the bleeding edge is changing a lot. All right, I got one more topic.
You got
This
it.
one
Go
is
for it.
aggravating the shit out of me. If I have one more VB guy hit me up, okay, and or sorry, yeah, VB, so 22 plus WRX, and go, hey, when are you guys gonna release a transmission upgrade for this? I'm gonna shit my pants. So what these guys want,
Aggressively.
what these guys keep asking for is a gear set for that
Yeah.
trash ass trans. Now I need to make sure I am as clear as humanly possible on that. Your trans is garbage. It will never be better than a 400 horsepower trans. We can put any damn gear set you want in it, and it won't matter. Your front diff is shit. Your center diff is shit. Your output shaft is shit. Your transfer gears are shit. The case itself is shit. Right? It's not going to be that trans is literally the same thing as the 5-speed, but an extra gear.
5+1 speed, baby.
It is a 5+1 speed, and it was designed for 90 horsepower, 1.8 liter Imprezas to take grandma back and forth in the winter reliably, in the 90s. And they have slowly tried to improve upon it, but it is flawed from the base.
The
Okay.
gears are physically not large enough to hold a lot of power, and you don't have limited slip
The main
diffs.
shafts are just not big enough. The whole thing is not going to work. Okay. So I can't stress this enough. I love you guys, but these VBs are making a lot of horsepower really fast and a whole lot of torque. Okay. And I have a feeling that when the cork is about to come off these things, then everybody's going, we need a trans upgrade. We need a trans upgrade. It's existed since 2000. Okay.
So,
it's
does
called
it bolt straight up?
6MT.
Does it bolt straight up?
Yes.
Okay. Does it fit in the same location of the shifter?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So what you need is to get, a bunch of these transes on pallets and sell them to people.
It is not, it's so much easier for us to, I'm not saying maybe we couldn't make like a swap kit kind of thing, but it's
right.
It's really all that would be is a part number that people would use as a resource to just say, okay, I guess I need these things. It's not that hard to swap that thing in. I can't stress it enough. Any 6-speed will bolt to that engine. STI based,
Okay, so I do have these questions. So
sure,
IAG could make a parts kit for everything but the STI 6-speed transmission that they would get elsewhere. Is that right?
But there's not that many. It's all OEM. That's the biggest problem.
But I mean, if I bought a VB, I'm not going to know what parts those are.
If you got a VB, what you need to do is you need to go to eBay and you need to find a VA STI, or honestly, the same thing is in the GR. So a 08 plus STI transmission. Okay, most of the time, if you get those swaps, they're going to come with axles, your drive shaft, your rear diff. I think the only thing that might be a little goofy is I think the rear axles are still a direct bolt in, but don't hold me to that. But they're close, okay? And maybe that's something we need to look into. But you need the shift linkage is the same thing as a VB or a VA STI. And you need the clutch.
Right.
But other than that, all of it's in the same spot is what I'm trying to get at. And you're going to need the trans mount, which again bolts right in.
So how do you make this stupid easy for these guys who just bought a VB? They want to go fast.
No, here's the problem. Like people, not even a couple years ago, like the VA guys had absolutely no problems with doing any form of research. The VB guys won't. They just don't do it.
Yeah,
some of that is the social media just has too much noise.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I've asked Zoomers about this, Gen Z, and their answer was actually pretty good, which is there's so much information, you can't find anything anymore. Google kind of sucks. It's not like it used to be. So I get better answers from getting answers from humans. That's why they ask all these dumb questions. They're not stupid people.
I like that.
I do too. I'm annoyed by
like
it,
that,
but
and I'm happy that they are trying to do that. But what aggravates me is when they ask this to me and I tell them, "Hey man, you need to put an STI trans in your car. It's actually a direct bolt up." It's almost like they're offended. Okay, so at that point you become an asshole.
well,
Because what they're looking for is an answer that doesn't exist. So I lay it out for them. Now here's the reason that this doesn't exist. Let's say we could make the perfect gear set. Okay, that gear set right now would probably be somewhere in the realm of our STI gear set. Okay, that we sell. I'm gonna get you a price right now. Hold on.
okay. While you're doing that, I'm going to read this very good comment from our friend Crash in the chat. Quote:
Yes.
There are some decent people putting info and guides on Reddit, but they are a bitch to find. Exactly what I'm trying to argue here, which is what would it take for IAG to put a document on their webpage saying this is how you STI 6-speed swap a VB, and by the way, when you blow your shit up, buy the engine from us, thank us later. I would totally do that.
I'm with you, and I think there needs to be some central resources for this. Okay, I'm with you, and maybe that's something we could do as a company better.
And just say these are the best axles.
The
These are the
problem with
OEM
that
part
is,
numbers.
like who's gonna write that? Because like currently, I'm not trying to complain, but I am the only sales guy here. You know what I mean? And like it's really hard for me to cut time to do this. So we'd have to find somebody to do it.
Dude, you've written guides for what was it, Car and Driver? What was that?
That was
Dude,
fun.
like that was great. More of that, please.
So like our gear set is just a first or fourth, right? For an STI trans. That's only 4 of your 6 gears and it's $6,000. Okay.
Oh my God.
So that's what I'm trying to get at. Now we didn't do synchros, we didn't do anything. When you open that thing up, you're gonna do those things. Okay. So it's probably gonna be a $7,000 gear set plus another $1,000 worth of shit.
It's
Plus,
a non-starter.
Most trans places, at a minimum, even if you pull the damn trans, is going to charge you $1,000 to tear it down and put it back together. It's just what it costs. So now we're looking at a $9,000 to $10,000 transmission.
Yeah, that's a non-starter.
Well, not only that, this is assuming that we make the world's most perfect gear set. Then you add in the fact that you're still stuck with an open diff in the front, a crappy center diff, and all of those are weak inside of a case that's junk. This is why I keep telling people, guys, just go buy the full swap. Like you get DCCD, get a front diff.
It's easy for you because you've been doing this for 20 years. Like if I'm thinking if I have the money that I'm making now and I'm starting today, I'm buying a VB WRX, realizing really quick that it's got a shitty transmission on it. How do I make this better? And let's say I've got let's call it $5,000 to spend on this. I need a DCCD controller. I need an eBay transmission that hopefully doesn't suck. If it does suck, I need to rebuild it with synchros and pay somebody. So I need like a guide. I'm telling you, man,
I'm with you, but understand that even if you rebuilt your trans that you got from eBay and the labor to put it all in, you're at $10,000.
How much is that?
You get a much nicer trans.
Yeah. Now I've spent good money on bicycles and cars, and it's
put some really good info in here. This is why I keep trying to let me.
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
VA rear axles and drive shaft are short in the VB. Rear axles are at max extension. Use the VB front axles, and it sounds like we might have to do some shenanigans with the rear with an R180. So maybe there's a market for some VB STI VB to R180 like drive shaft shop axles for the rear. I got a feeling that's going to become a thing here real fast.
There you go. Just sell. Okay, you buy these things from IAG. You've got some instructions from IAG, and one of the instructions is buy an STI 6-speed from eBay parts, eBay motors. Like, you might not make $10,000 worth of margin on that, but you will get so much goodwill out of people going, "Oh, thank God, I now know everything I need to know to do this." So
maybe Mick at Cosmic and IAG and myself need to get together and we can write out what a parts list for that would look like.
Yeah, if you like DCCD Spider or Map DCCD, whatever it is, and you have a harness that's like built for the VB, and then you tell people this is where you park it in the chassis.
I can't say too much about it. Oh, I gotta talk to these assholes too.
Flat Irons Tuning has brand new crate transmissions. There you go.
Cool shit coming, boy. I'm happy I just had that. Yeah.
See,
I can't
that's the
talk
cool.
about it yet, but I am very excited.
It's the cool part about flat irons. They've got an OEM side and they've got an aftermarket side, and they can do everything at one shop. So, or two
Yeah,
buildings, but same idea.
maybe we all get together and we all post the same thing on all of our sites, and we all have.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, and that's community working together. We have Flat Irons, us, and Cosmic all post the same thing with all of our logos.
Exactly.
And say, this is what you need.
This is how you do it. You'll have an entire generation that's loyal to you or your 3 shops, and they will know this is the preferred vendor list, and they will never go anywhere else. I'm telling you.
Okay, I like your thinking. And there you go. Modern problems need modern solutions.
Yep. See, like nobody's winning on withholding information. You're winning on like better customer service nowadays.
And that's something that needs to die. That was some old school shit that it still kind of hangs around today. That thought process needs to die, especially within the Subaru community. We are not big enough to do that.
Right. Like, you and I have a friend, Kevin. It was Kevin, Mike, and Stanley. They built the Holy Shift Kit master parts list for this is how you make a VA WRX shifter as crisp as possible. I'm saying take that, post it on IAG's website, and saying this is the answer. Buy this from us. You can buy this, transmission new from us if you want, or you could buy it from eBay Motors.
Yep.
Just one pager. It's not going to cost $10,000. It'll pay for itself.
Yep.
Dude, oh my God, we've been talking for an hour and a half straight. Just
it's been good though.
Dumping.
Yep, I think we had a good podcast. So
sure did.
You got any other questions in the chat? You guys have been great today.
Yeah, let's talk about the chat.
Who is Sketch?
I've been thinking it's Mika at Cosmic.
No, it's Mick.
Okay.
I've been wrong this whole time because I didn't think that was in there correctly. I thought it was like Mike misspelled or something. No, that's Mick at Cosmic.
Okay.
I'm an asshole. I've called him by the wrong name many, many times.
Internet's full of assholes.
Yep, but that is Mick at Cosmic, and I appreciate his info. Yep. Yeah, but if we don't really have much else, I think we're gonna call it a day. Randy and Dewey, IAG's bad at names. We're awful. we're absolutely terrible, but it is what it is. All right. And we call you Warranty. Speaking of, how's
Sparkles?
Yeah, how's she doing?
She's doing good. Her asthma has subsided, so she got back on the bike to ride it indoors, and she did 105 miles this week. So,
all right,
plus the Sparkles. Good for her.
I think I'm gonna go do some racing. I've been trying to hit the sim a lot more lately. I had a great race with Grid Life the other day with the iRacing, Grid Life iRacing stuff.
Very cool. We're
using these BMW M2s right now. So it's kind of like a spec M2 series. And it is intense. I qualified okay. We're at Watkins Glen. I qualified okay. I was in like 10th out of like 30.
Mm-hmm.
And with this group, that's really good. And maybe I was like 12th. Either way, I ended up making my way up to like 9th, and then we do a grid invert for the top 10 for the second race.
Yeah.
So put me in second place. And for a minute there, I was actually leading. And then Alan Patton, the guy who won Street Mod, who is basically a GT4 driver, and DJ Ellison Drini, who is sim racing god.
Lizard Brain.
They came hauling ass up on me, and I actually felt I did pretty good holding them off for a few laps, but they did eventually get around me. But I hung with them really well and ended up getting 4th, and 4th in that group is insane. But what ended up happening out of that is because I could follow them fairly close, I learned a lot. And I had, when using the sim, I had these like epiphany moments where I wonder if I'm doing this in a real car too kind of moments.
Okay.
And I think I have been. And it's the epiphany I had was some of it is a perspective thing within the sim, and I don't think I was using all of the track the way I probably should have. But more so, it was putting a priority of getting to where I needed to be on the track to set up for the corner. And it was something DJ does very smoothly because he's like sim racing Jesus, but Alan's a lot more aggressive with it, and I'm assuming that the proper way is probably because DJ ended up winning, but because Alan was doing it so much more pronounced, I was able to see it, and then I realized that like maybe a couple of feet off of where I'm supposed to be, and the angle I'm sitting at isn't right at all. Like I've got, a few degrees, I'm pointing the wrong direction.
Right.
So I'm having to put more steering angle in at a tighter angle to make the corners. So I'd have to tighten the curve even harder. So I'd have to put more steering angle in to get it done.
Right.
And rotate the car more. And what was happening is I was upsetting the car on corner entry a bunch. And
like overcompensating.
Well, some of it is it's the most simple things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can sit there and tell somebody, get all the way to the side of the track, open up the corner the best you can. And that's going to be the fastest way through for the most part. Then you realize you're not doing that. So yeah.
Glad you got to see
we
it.
got Serpent Wolf asking a question. Here's a question. When do you put Boogey on a diet? Obviously, weight is one of the most expensive improvements past initial reduction. So initial weight reduction. So basically what you're saying is, when are we going to hack more weight out of Boogey? The problem is, due to class restrictions and how heavy my cage is, there's not a whole lot I can do to yank too much more weight out of Boogey. I'm not saying there isn't some weight there, but there's not a lot of low-hanging fruit. I can't do a carbon roof. Crash just asked, can I do a carbon roof? I can't do that. I can't do carbon doors. I still have to keep my glass. There's not much I can do. We're pretty light for what we are. Now there is some low-hanging fruit. Our front lower core support was all fucked up when I first got this car, so we replaced it with this like hunk of no shit angle iron, and it is really heavy. But that is also the support for our front splitter now, because it is so beefy. So I'm a little hesitant to get rid of that, especially since it sits so low. And then we also have my rear candy cane Salt Bay wing uprights. Those are egregiously heavy for what they are, because it was the material that we happen to have laying around. Those could be redone and we'd shave some pounds, but we're not talking like 100 pounds here. We're talking like, if we did both of those, 20 pounds of weight savings, and I'm not gonna lie, the wing uprights, because they're so high up, there's probably I think that's going to change a little bit with the car. But as far as like other weight reduction, there's not a ton there. Like there's really not much I can go after.
It's pretty light already, that's for sure.
Yep. Are the new brakes going to be any lighter than the current ones? Maybe. It ain't going to be much. The current AP racing brakes that I have they're not by any means egregiously heavy. You know what I mean? So, Serapin Wolf, roof is off the table in Street Mod. I missed that. Yeah, I cannot put a carbon roof in. I can't replace panels with carbon. I'm already, I'm not going to say the gray area, but it is a little bit gray area that like my rear fender over fenders, for my rear fender flares, that is those are a composite material. But that was determined to be a fender flare for wheel clearance, and everybody was okay with that. That fell under that. So yeah, Street Mod is it's rough. And with that stated, we're of the front runners, we're the lightest car. Okay, so weight isn't a giant concern of ours. Refining stuff is a big concern. There's some low-hanging arrow fruit we need to go after. Street Mod is factory gas tank too, right? It doesn't say anything about factory gas tank. Now, one of the things I would like to do So I'd like to take an OEM gas tank, a brand new one, a brand new OEM STI gas tank. I want to cut it in half at the saddle. And so we're going to have our fuel. We're only going to be able to have half the amount of fuel on board, but we don't have to deal with a saddle anymore, and we're going to be able to get rid of that entire side. That's not going to save a ton of weight, though. We already don't go out really at a full tank unless we absolutely need to. So when does cutting weight may cause safety issues? Mike, I'm not sure exactly how you wanted to word that, but at what point does cutting weight cause safety issues? There's something to that. One of the advantages we have is like our cage is beefy as shit. So really our structure is held together by our cage, no matter which way we look at it. So I could actually see us maybe shaving some small weight here and there on the car, but gaining a little bit of weight due to some of the aero bits we're going to put on it, which in a way are probably going to make the car just overall faster anyway. So I see that coming. I don't know, man. I think we did a show.
We got it.
Yep. I think it was fun. Had a good time. Torque Solutions. Maybe this can be inserted because I think we are still recording.
Okay.
Torque Solutions just released another product.
What was it?
I don't know if you've seen that BRZs recently has been showing off their pinch weld, like jacking pinch weld protector things so you can jack the car up. They've been doing a bunch of this, okay? Torque Solutions today, this has been something I've seen from BRZs the last 2 weeks, and it's been getting a little traction. People are really stoked about it. And then they are now releasing these.
Same identical thing?
It's basically the exact same thing.
Well, that's disappointing.
Come on, man.
Well, at least they're consistent.
Yeah. I don't think that company has ever made something that wasn't somebody else's idea. Okay.
All right.
I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. All right, folks. Hope you had a good time and maybe accidentally learned something. If you could do us a solid and please subscribe. And I can't stress this enough. Share. Share the link to the podcast. Tell people about the podcast. Come on the podcast. It's the more the merrier, and the more people we have, the more guests we can have, the more fun we can have with this. We want to make this a giant happy family. So thanks, guys.